In this video, full review of the Shadow Systems DR920. Let's go. Okay, so first off, if you haven't heard of Shadow Systems, it's a local company out of Texas made right here in America. And ultimately what they're doing is taking a Glock platform and upgrading it. So if you're to buy a Glock for $550 and then upgrade it with all the features you're gonna see here, you might be in the $1,200 or something. And if you were to get a Polymer 80 or a Palmetto State Arms like a Dagger, let's say, and rebuild it from there with everything that you're gonna see here, again, you're going to be in the mid-thousands. And so ultimately, the idea for me, the conceptualization is that you're buying a gun that's already put together, so you're not dinking around with it. It works out of the box. Shadow Systems stands behind it. You get a lot of very nice upgrades, and I'll show you all of them here in a second, for a medium price. So I would say it's a high-value firearm. So let's go through it, maybe starting at the tail. It has an extended beaver tail. And actually in the previous version had a little shorter beaver tail. People said they wanted a little bit more. So supposedly Shadow Systems says it's contoured in a way that your grip is supposed to grab it and grab it high. So you're supposed to get a really good perch on the gun based on the way that they have this beaver tail set up. There's a little bit of chamfering back here in the back. And I'm gonna skip to the front and talk about a little chamfering. You can see just the edging cut off on the front. And their big deal there was a lot of the issues come out in holstering, reholstering, especially if you're inside the waistband and it collapses on you. So they kind of channeled those out, which I think are neat little features. You can see it's got rear serrations, front serrations. Out of the box, it comes with night sights. So the front sight is a tritium green glow, and the rear is actually a blacked out pyramid, but it also has some channeling on it, which is supposed to be anti-glare for your eyes. The barrel is spiral fluted, beautiful bronze. It is a match grade, by the way. This version is non-threaded. They have other versions. You've got a pick rail, of course. I've got a TLR7 Alpha on here right now. So you've got these thumb pads or gas pedals, they call them. They're on both sides. They're ambidextrous. And so essentially you could put your, if you weren't shooting, finger up there, but really the idea is that you put your thumb forward on there. Now the texturing on these, I think it's a good texturing. The gun in general has a good feel to it, and it does feel almost a little smooth isn't the right word. This isn't like hardcore sandpaper. It's maybe not like, if I just do a test. So this is a SIG P365. I would say this is slightly more aggressive, but actually very, very, very similar in that regard. Yeah, so more aggressive than some of the other guns I've got playing over here. I like it. Trigger, it is a flat face trigger. I got a mag in here. So they say it's at about 4 to 5 pounds. Let's try it for ourselves. 3.8. 3.8. So I'll throw a mag in. 3.8. So you're looking at 3.8. Now, is that good or bad? When you pay more money for a gun, I like to see it sub 5 myself. Since this is supposed to be more of a duty gun, carry gun, not a competition gun. If you were a competition gun, maybe you'd want at 2, which is really too light for everyday carry. So you want, I think this is about perfect. Sub 4, 3.8, nailed it. So I'll tell you that when I was shooting at the range, this is Palmetto State Arms Dagger. This would be equivalent to a Glock 19, so slightly smaller than this. I'll show you that. And this has just a lot more mush, a lot more trigger pull in the trigger. And so I was getting used to drawing and having all that uptake. And then when I switched, I actually, oh, that reset was nice too. It really kicks your finger out. I like that. I actually pulled up, I mean, I hit the target, but it went faster than I was planning. So I think 3.84 is really great. I find this trigger to be better than a Glock trigger. I think it's got a crisper wall and well, maybe that release is about the same, but it does kick your finger a little bit forward, so not bad. It is a striker fire, so you know this is a striker fire polymer frame pistol, by the way. It has a slightly flared mag well. I'll show you this. I actually have another one. So this is right out of the box, unshot. So it has a slightly flared mag well there, just to help redirect, and then it comes in the box with another additional that you can put on there. Now that is polymer, it is plastic. Some people don't like that as much. They might think the metal lips on the mags can start to ding that over time. I mean, it'll last you a while, and it came with it, so I'm a fan. I installed it on this one. Magwell release is got some texture on it. It is slightly extended, and let me just say that when I'm in the house here, these shoot out pretty good. This one is loaded, by the way, and I want to show you that because sometimes when you've got full loaded springs, they're hard to get in there. But so not that you would release it full, you would release it empty, but it still shoots out really well. When I was on the range, it was, and I'll show you the video here in a second, it was blizzarding outside and it was wet. So it was sticking a little bit and I kind of had to give it a flick. I'm gonna test that again as soon as I can get out in dry conditions. And also, that was the first time out there shooting with a gun. So there is a break-in period, Shadow Systems says that, at least 100 rounds. Look at that barrel. Oof. Let's keep going. It's got a lot more features. So yeah, we've got the trigger, we've got a flat face, trigger safety, we've got the double undercut. It's got a Picatinny rail, obviously, because I got the light on there. I'm gonna dive into the red dot system here in a second, which is a really important feature of Shadow Systems. But let me just quickly say that the takedown feature is just like a standard Glock that you'd be used to. So same exact feature. Here's what this looks like. Here on the slide, we do have a metal guide rod. You can take that down and change the spring out if you would need to. Here you can see this sexy fluted barrel. That is a match grade. Put her back together for you. And then, next up, the red dot mounting system. Very important. So Shadow Systems, so by the way, I got a good deal on them and I really like it. So I bought two. Nothing better than dual wielding. Out of the box, it comes with 2 PMags, and I want to mention that these are PMags. These are not Glock OEM mags, so some people don't like that as much, but hey, at least they threw in 2 of them, better than 1. Okay, so in the box also, you're going to get 3 different back straps, and they do have all texturing on them. You can pop that out real easily. Comes with a tool. You just pop that out, slides right off. Comes with this additional mag well. Also comes with these long screws, if you can see them. So Shadow Systems is the only one in the industry to be able to do this. Extractor plunger back here, they shortened so that you can get long screws in, because sometimes you would get a long screw here on the left side and a real short screw on the other side, and that would cause your red dot to potentially slip out. And so by moving that, they're able to get these longer screws in all the way down on both sides. That's pretty neat. So they include different screws here based on different red dots, which I appreciate. And then they have these, I'll show you these, small little plastic pieces with a couple little nipples on them. Can I say that here? So how that works, that fits in behind the red dot. So you slide in these notches, let's call them. You slide that in first, so then this fits flat. And what Shadow Systems says is, irrespective of how good your CNC machine is, there's always going to be some tolerance issues. So these are made from plastic. One thing I want to note, you might have to do a little bit of homework on your red dot. So I had heard that Shadow Systems had this universal system and you could put any red dot on it. So I didn't do any research and actually I bought this is the Vortex Venom. Yeah, and I bought this and turns out it doesn't fit on the DR920 anyway. So then I had to rob this Holosun off of this guy, and which I'll note. So this is a little bit of the evolution of putting red dots on. Some pistols you might find that they have these plates, and they have different plates based on different footprints, and you mount this plate down very well, and then of course you put the red dot on top of that. A couple issues with that. I mean, I haven't had any issues with this, and I've shot this quite a bit, but that's just one more fail point. So if you can get rid of it, why wouldn't you get rid of it? And then also you start to get some tolerance stacking, you start to get some height issues, because when you start working with plates, then you really got to be careful about which sights you want to use if you want to co-witness, which I always co-witness, or else it's worthless to have them on there. These are suppressor sight heights. It's a threaded barrel, but ultimately, you know, you've got the plate on there and then the Holosun on there, and it did stack and it did work. My setup did, but it's just like one more variable. So if we can get rid of that variable and just do a direct mount, how awesome. So that is direct mounted. You get all the hardware that you need with a firearm. All right, well, that's pretty much fully the gun. Oh, I might mention that it's 7 3/4 inch long and 5 1/4 inch tall, if that means anything to you. Ooh, let me show you the sizes really quick. So this is the DR920. The MR920, which would be the same size as the Glock 19, is a little bit smaller. So let me just see if I can't hold all these for you. I do not have an MR920. If it looks like this. So it's pronounced. And then this is the CR920. And this would be equivalent to the Glock 43X, and you can see that's even smaller. So these are the 3 different iterations, or the 3 different versions. I mean, they also have the XR920, and they're coming out with some new stuff now in 2024. But ultimately, these are options. All right, I'm out here in a blizzard today, but I wanted to get first shots with the Shadow Systems DR920, so let's do that. Let's go. Okay, so I threw this Holosun 407K on that I had on my primary shooter, and I'm just a little off. I'm shooting a little high, so give it a couple clicks and check now. Better, one more. Yeah? Yeah, I'm liking that. So the reset's pretty darn fast on this thing. And the trigger's pretty fast too. Held open. So first impressions of DR920, the trigger reset is quite fast, faster than a Glock, which you would expect. I think she felt pretty good in my hands. She's got the, so she's got the speed pads, which they call, for your thumb pad, speed bump. They got a lot of different names. So that just helps lock your thumb in. And then I guess I find myself just really being able to hook around the trigger guard. You know, in all fairness, it's 20 degrees out here and I'm shooting in gloves, and so to get a better impression, I'll make sure I shoot this when it warms up a little bit, which isn't gonna be for months here in Minnesota. So far, really happy. So I think one thing that I noticed right off the bat is that these magazines come out really fast. There's a slight mag well in it, if you can see that. Just much better than a standard Glock. So I'm just gonna throw in some oversized Glock mags that I have. Let's just make sure she chews up all these mags. It's dead accurate from here. Let's move back a ways and see what it looks like from a distance here. Let's go way back. Way back. Let's go! So as of now, she's shooting pretty flat. The reset's very quick. I like the trigger. It's got a little bit of uptake, and then she'll catch you though if you're not ready for that uptake. So you got to be pretty careful, which I like. Again, if you practice with the gun, I think that makes you a lot more accurate. So far so good. So it didn't drop that fast. Huh. So I was just trying to do a quick reload, and it seemed like when I pressed the release, the mag release, she comes out really fast, but well, now she's coming out a little faster. Let's try that again. So what I'm doing here is just practicing my reloads with this DR920. Yeah, that one went pretty good. I'll do it again. Not like getting snow into your springs. Then I'll open your gun. They're just tools though, right? They're just tools. All right, we're gonna go on to this one. I was too quick on it. Let's try again. Come on, baby, release for me. Can you hear all those geese in the background? Nope, so she's not shooting out. Which, I mean, this doesn't claim to be an elite speedy gun, because I'd like to see those shoot out. But it's a lot better than a standard Glock, and it's a lot better than some other knockoffs. I mean, way better. But I'd like to see that maybe shoot out a little faster. I guess I'll just give it a little flick of the wrist. So anyway, one note that she has fired everything I've put through it today flawlessly. She's held open on empty. So this DR920, I'm a really big fan of. This would be a great carry gun. It's a large carry gun if you can carry it. So it'd be just an absolute primary firearm, absolutely killer in the safe. It already comes with night sights, so that's great if you didn't have a red dot. So I think this has a lot of utility. I'm not sure that I would use it for a competition gun without maybe a little more work, but I think if you can catch one of these on sale, I think definitely add it to your safe. All right, there you have it, the full review of the Shadow Systems DR920. DR920. It's a solid value. If you can get it on sale, I strongly recommend it. One note that all the details we discussed will transfer over to the MR920 and to the CR920. Not 100%, but a lot of the ideation is there. So hopefully that helps you pick which one that you want. Hey, if you like the review, do me a favor, smash that like button and subscribe. God bless.